remember that John would like say, I don't understand why you get so angry. And I'd say, you make me angry. But when I prayed, excavate my life, the anger that was just once a month, possibly my husband would be like, are you getting ready to start? I'd be like, stop it. It's not that. It's not that. And it was that, but I said it wasn't that. Then it was not once a month, but like every 2 weeks. Well, that was when I realized we were under spiritual attack. The witches in Orlando were probably significantly targeting a single youth pastor. They were coming after my husband in the spirit. And so possibly the witches were causing me to freak out twice a month. Then it went from twice a month to once a week. And I remember John saying, I feel like the animals in our neighborhood go running, because I would wake up feeling like there was a tremor inside of me. And I would say things like, John, just don't push me. Today is not the day to push me. But John loves to push. And he'd be like, what's going on? What's going on? Come on, you need to talk to me. And we would like go to bed, and he would say, you're still mad at me. He would turn on the light. He would pull off the covers. He would stand on top of the mattress and say, we will not let the sun go down on our wrath. And I was like, we started fighting when it was dark out. I have till tomorrow. He'd be like, no. So, I was like, okay, this man's crazy. And I remember we were in the kitchen, and I was trying to hold my tongue because I had read the scripture that you and I are going to give an account of every idle word. And I could just see my time before the throne room. Like they're going to be like, are we still talking about Lisa's idol's word? It was going to go on and on and on. And so I would try to be quiet, and John just said something, and before I knew what happened, the plate in my hand became a frisbee. I pulled back, I threw it at John. He ducked, kind of like a Matrix move, missing decapitation. It went out the window. The problem was the window was closed. I shattered our picture window in our apartment. I remember thinking, what have I done? And my husband was like, I can't believe you just did that. I said, I know. I can't even throw a frisbee. I can't believe I just did that either. He's like, no, Lisa, I'm serious. He said, I am not going to lie for you. When they come, I am going to tell them that my crazy Sicilian wife threw a plate at me and broke the window. And I said, you know what? You're a man of God. I don't want you to lie, but I will not be here when you tell them this. And so I got in our car, and I just prayed in tongues. I just prayed in tongues. I was like, Jesus, you can put that window back together before they come. Jesus, like I had gotten the plate off the lawn. I was like, Jesus, you can do this. And I was like, I will offer my firstborn child, because that's all I had. I will offer him for the full-time ministry if you will fix the window. I tried to negotiate everything possible. I imagined the worst things that I could imagine. I saw the Orlando Sentinel's newspaper headline, youth pastor's wife breaks picture window at Post Lake Apartments. I imagined all the older women at the church that were already troubled by the fact I had double pierced ears saying, I always knew it. I always knew it, that when I'd come to church on Sunday, they'd be like, it's the double piercing. I've seen it. I've seen it before. I covered myself in shame. I prayed. I waited for about 3 hours, and then I come home, and I walk in, and John looks at me, and he said, you must have really been praying, or God must really love you. And I said, okay, why? He said, well, when the guy came in, I was in the bathroom, and he said, Addison, who was 2, opened the door. He said, when Addison opened the door, the guy walked in and goes, whoa, what happened here? The big window broken. He walks over to the window, looks down, and there's a Tonka truck behind the sofa. He picks up the Tonka truck. He has it in his hand. When John walks out, the guy was like, don't worry about this. This is why we have insurance at the apartment complex. I have a 2-year-old too. And my husband was like, it's not the 2-year-old, it's my 28-year-old wife. But the guy said, say no more, say no more. So John said, I said no more. He said, say no more. So I let my 2-year-old son take the rap for me breaking a picture window. And I remember I went from being like sad and feeling so much condemnation about it to climbing into bed with my husband that night and saying, see, you shouldn't have pushed me. See, like that was a covering for me. That was the Lord covering your wife who you're going to dishonor. I went from a place of broken conviction to a place of justification. Then I had my second child. Can I just say it this way? One child is an accessory. You dress them up, they behave well, they're cute. It's all a trick to get you to have more children. I remember when I had my second son, I thought, I will never brush my teeth before noon again. I remember that John would leave with our only car to go be a youth pastor, and I'd be like, pray for me, pray for me. He'd be like, you're gonna be okay. I'd be like, no, pray for me right now. Pray for me and for the safety of your children. And he was like, you've got this. But what John didn't understand was now my firstborn, who had been so perfect, he couldn't take a nap. He couldn't take a nap because I might be kissing the second baby while he was taking a nap. And so basically every single day I got up and my firstborn would not go down for a nap. Back then, again, phones were not portable. This is how old I am. Phones were not portable. When the phone would ring, my son would be like, she's captive. He would jump off of his bed and he would go into the playroom and I would be on the phone with somebody stomping my foot, waving a spank spoon at him, and he'd be like, I see that hand, but I am not going anywhere. He would just stay up there. And so basically, right when I finally got him to go to sleep, the baby would wake up, wow, wow, my milk would let down, and then I'd know I was going to flunk the tests that I was flunking every single day. My husband would come in and he would look at me. I'd be standing there with the babies in my arms, my nursing flaps down, a spank spoon in my other hand, a 3-year-old on my leg, and he'd be like, what did you do all day? And I'd say, I don't know, but I was busy. People are calling and saying they're going to commit suicide, and I am offering to join them. John was like, Lisa, seriously. I don't know why we had a listed phone number, but we thought it was holy. But you should not call postpartum women for counseling. Just remember that. Okay, so anyway, I just remember one day my son came down the stairs, and I just snapped. I no longer saw a child. I saw an enemy. I thought, this is the one who keeps me from getting anything done. And as he came down the stairs, I came running up to meet him. I grabbed him and I stormed into his bedroom. And I thought, what can I do so he stays on this bed? And I heard, slam him against the wall and put him down. Now, it's not funny. Slam him against the wall and put him down on the bed, then he'll know. And I remember I was lifting my son up and I was just getting ready to slam him into the wall when I saw something I had never seen before. My son was not afraid of what I was going to do. He was afraid of me. And I remembered what it was like growing up in a physically and mentally abusive household. And every time I was slapped, every time I was slammed into a wall, every time I was kicked, every time I was hit, I made myself a promise. And it went like this: I will never treat my children that way. But here I was, a born-again, spirit-filled pastor's wife, getting ready to hurt my son. And it broke me. I remember I put him down. I said, I'm sorry I scared you. And I hit the carpet. And I said, God, it's not my husband. He's not here. It's not the witches. It's not my parents. It's not Sicilian. It's not Apache. It's me. I have a real problem with anger, and I don't know how to get free. And I don't know if you've ever cried until there is nothing. But in the nothing, in the stillness, when a storm has gone through your soul and you cry and a quietness settles over you, I heard God say, because you're no longer justifying this, I'll set you free.